Hi, good morning. My name is Joanna Nelson, and I'm with the New Mexico Economic Development Department, and I'm a finance development specialist. And I want to thank you so much for joining us today. We have a really exciting webinar for you. This is a part of our New Mexico Economic Development Department's finance team webinar series. And at the beginning of the year, we polled people, communities, economic developers, business owners to see what topics would interest them most that involves economic development and finance development. And one of those topics was exploring USDA's funding program. So we're really excited to have the team from USDA join us. They're a fantastic resource and have some exciting programs, and we're really excited to learn about the different services and programs that they offer. So before we get started, I wanted just quickly to go over the finance development team service that we offer. We're a small team. We are housed in Santa Fe and cover the state, but we do offer basic financial development services. So that includes assistance in financial packaging, review and interpretation of financial statements, financial analysis. If you're a community that has a business that's interested in expanding or obtaining some type of financing, we can help connect resources and opportunities to help fund those projects. So feel free to reach out to us anytime if you have any questions, if you're a business, if you're a community, and we can help connect the dots with any type of financing questions. We do have a number of programs that we administer. So one of those is the Local Economic Development Act. That's a closing fund that we administer that's around, I think it's around $30 million right now, but that is for businesses that are expanding and needing to buy land, building our infrastructure. And the particular project would be creating jobs. We're able to participate in those projects. Sometimes Fund It is a great organization. USDA participates in it. But that's a chance for communities that have economic development projects and infrastructure projects that are looking for funding, and they're looking to navigate all the different funding sources. They might have questions of how do you pay for this particular project. So we have a group of federal and state funders that are represented in the group at those Fund It meetings, and the communities can present to the funders themselves. So it's an excellent opportunity and platform for them to receive feedback, guidance, and direct assistance for those respective programs. So it's a really good opportunity to get insight into where to go to pay for your particular projects. New Markets Tax Credit, really, really great financing opportunity that we help administer in partnership with the New Mexico Finance Authority. If you have a project in your area that is in a distressed economic area that's creating jobs and is a big capital investment, this could be a good tool. The New Mexico Credit Enhancement Program, we're really excited about this. This is a program that we just unrolled this year, and it is basically like a loan guarantee program in a sense that if a business has a shortfall in collateral, we can assist by purchasing a CD in a bank to cover the shortfall in collateral. So a bank will be more apt to make a loan to a business. And so this includes all industries. We're really wanting to focus on rural areas. And then we have the Rural Efficient Business Program, which is in partnership with the USDA from a grant we received from them. And I'll go into that in more detail. We have an upcoming workshop and Clovis, and opportunity zones we're helping to administer throughout the state. So if your community has an opportunity zone in your area, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. That actually is our next webinar, to talk a little bit more in detail about if you do have opportunity zones in your region, what do you do to market that or set up a fund, etc. So those are our programs. Good to have an overview. If you have any questions, follow up with myself or the finance team director, Juan Torres. And as well, you can see on the screen, this is a map of our regional representatives that represent the different sections of the state. So you can log on, or you can access these links and find your New Mexico Economic Development regional rep, who is like our boots on the ground, that can connect you with the right department or the right division. And as well, New Mexico Main Street's a fantastic resource, especially for our rural communities. So without further ado, I wanted just to let you know that this presentation is being recorded. So we will upload it to our New Mexico Economic Development Department's YouTube page. And then we will pass out or we'll email out the presentation probably tomorrow, so you'll have access to that. So without further ado, I want to introduce the USDA team, and they're gonna take over. We will take questions. Everyone is muted, but you'll be able to type your questions in the bottom right-hand screen of the little gray box. So feel free to type questions as we go, and then I'll read the questions out to the USDA team at the end. So thanks again, and take it away, USDA.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jenna. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the audience today and through the funded group in this webinar presentation to talk about rural development and some of the programs that we can offer for economic development and then for rural infrastructure. My name is Richard Carrig. I'm the Business and Cooperative Programs Director here in New Mexico for USDA Rural Development, and I've been here about 3.5 years. Been with the agency coming up on 31 years, and previously I've worked in the states of Utah and Idaho, and I'm very excited to be here in New Mexico for these past 3.5 years. I think we'll go quickly around the table and make some brief introductions. We have a number of our staff experts here. They're going to be talking about some of the programs that we have and some of the directions that we are going into with rural development. And as we flow through the presentation, these folks will come on and visit with you more directly. But for now, let's make some introductions, and we'll start with Pat.
Good morning. My name is Pat Navarrete. I'm the Business Loan Specialist, and I'm in the Albuquerque office.
Good morning. My name is Carlos Contreras. I am a loan specialist in business programs here at the state office.
Hi, my name is Jessie Boak, and I'm a specialist in the state office as well, a loan specialist.
Hello, my name is Samantha Martinez. I'm the Housing Program Director for the state of New Mexico.
Hello, my name is Nathan Williams. I'm the loan assistant in the state office under the community programs.
Good morning. My name is Cindy Jackson, and I am the multifamily housing coordinator here in the state office.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kim Yang. I am the new Program Director for Community Programs, but most of you have worked with me in the past in the business programs as the energy coordinator, and those are the programs I'll be talking about today.
Buenos dias. My name is Ernie Watson. I'm your Public Information Officer.
Megan Sandoval. I'm a technician here in the state office.
All right, thank you all. So before we launch into this, just kind of give you a feel for the agency. Some of you may be aware of USDA Rural Development. Some of you may not. Some of you may know us in, for instance, the business arena, or perhaps in the housing arena or community programs. arena, if you will, but not be familiar with what the agency can do and the other program areas for rural development. And so I'd like to touch on us as an agency, how we interweave with USDA nationally, and give you a sense of how we're structured and formulated and where our office locations are. So with that in mind, Megan, let's the next slide. It's going to be slow, huh? Okay.
I don't know if we actually have control. No.
Bear with us for a minute as we're trying to run the presentation.
Try pressing the arrow keys. Does that work?
Nope.
They should have control. Can you try moving the mouse?
Yeah, I can move the mouse.
Okay, and try just clicking on the PowerPoint. Does that work?
That didn't. Nope.
Okay, and then do you see those buttons down there? That shows the arrow?
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that should work. Okay.
There we go.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Just to regroup here for a minute, a little background. Here recently, the national office got together and always in an effort to streamline program delivery within the agencies and within the federal government. There is an interagency task force on agriculture and rural prosperity that was created to identify legislative, regulatory, policy changes that were targeted to promote increased efficiencies in agriculture, economic development, job growth, infrastructure improvements, technological innovation, energy security, and the overall quality of life in rural America. The task force put together a report to the president and identified e-connectivity for rural America is essential to grow our economy and the way of life out here in rural areas. E-connectivity or electronic connectivity is more than just connecting households, schools, and healthcare centers to each other, as well as the rest of the world through high-speed internet. It is also a tool that enables increased productivity for farms, factories, forests, mining, and small businesses. Connectivity is fundamental for economic development, but also for innovation and advancements in technology, workforce readiness, and an improved quality of life. Next slide. USDA is providing the tools to make rural America prosper. Through our various programs, each of our agencies can improve the quality of life for all that choose to live in rural America. Ensuring rural Americans can achieve a high quality of life is the foundation of prosperity. Next slide. There we go. A little slow. So, one USDA, that's maybe a concept that you're hearing more and more of. USDA is a big agency within the federal government, but we're trying to move into the direction of, to the extent that we can, have a one-stop shopping, for rural clients that are dealing with USDA, and so we are increasing our internal partnership and relationships with the other federal agencies within USDA. Now, within USDA, there are kind of 7 main mission areas, if you will: the farm and foreign agricultural services, food and nutrition and consumer services, food safety, marketing and regulatory programs, natural resources and environment, research, education, and economics, and last but not least is rural development. Next slide. All right. So our mission within rural development is to assist rural communities in creating prosperity so they are self-sustaining and economically thriving through investments that create ladders of opportunity build regional resilience, and support the growth of emerging markets. We have more than 40 loan, grant, and technical assistance programs to support economic development in rural communities. Now, within the Rural Development Agency, you can kind of categorize us in three main areas. Rural Business and Cooperative Service, which is the business and economic development arm within rural development. Rural Housing Service, which specifically addresses rural housing needs. And Rural Utilities Services, which is community-related infrastructure and assistance projects, water and waste systems, community buildings, fire trucks, that kind of thing. Slide. The office structures nationally were formulated into 4 regions: Western region, North Central region, the Northeast region, and the Southern region. And of course, we're located in the Western region. We are subcategorized into 47 state offices. We have 400 area offices throughout the nation in rural development, and 1 national office, not surprisingly, located in Washington, D.C. Here in New Mexico, our state office is here in Albuquerque, and a number of our staff is located here as well. But we have an office presence in our service center in Aztec. We have an office presence in Las Cruces, and additionally in Las Vegas, Los Lunas, and Roswell. Okay, I'm going to turn you over for a couple of minutes to Ernie Watson, and he's going to talk about one of our crisis focus areas within the agency right now. So, Ernie, take it away.
Thank you, Richard. As Richard was saying, it is a crisis, as everybody knows, about the opioid epidemic, if you want to call it that. And one of the things that USDA Rural Development is doing around the country, we're having roundtables where we discuss the issues and how we can partner with, for example, the state of New Mexico and other individual hospitals and medical centers and law enforcement and a lot of different other people, and how we can partner with them. And how can USDA Rural Development partner? Well, we have a number of programs that we can provide in the fight against the opioid crisis. For example, in our community facilities program, we have funded medical centers such as the hospital in Santa Rosa, and the medical clinic in Pecos. We've provided ambulances and troop of consequences, and it goes on and on and on and on. We've also done law enforcement equipment and so forth around the state. So with that being said, we are going to have a roundtable that will happen on August the 23rd. We're still working on the date and the time, on the actual time. We do have a date, and it will be coming out of the University of New Mexico. We have partnered with the Project ECHO from the University of New Mexico Hospital, and they are actually the experts when it comes to the opioids and working with doctors and medical facilities and so forth. And we will be going into detail about some of the programs that are offered, everything from broadband to telemedicine, again, through our community facilities program. So be on the lookout for invitations to that. And I'd be happy to answer questions a little bit later on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ernie. Appreciate that. Now we'll kind of to start drilling down into some of our program areas. You know, again, within rural development, we have 3 truncations within the agency: the business and economic development, community development, and rural housing. Now, within business and cooperative services, our economic arm, the kind of focus is for RBS, as we refer to it, is to help strengthen communities and create jobs by building competitive businesses. Business programs provide financial backing and technical assistance to stimulate business creation and growth. The programs work through partnerships with public and private community-based organizations and financial institutions to provide financial assistance, business development, and technical assistance to rural businesses. These programs help to provide capital, equipment, space, job training, and entrepreneurial skills that can help to start and or grow a business. Business programs also support the creation and preservation of quality jobs in rural areas. That said, it's a good segue into our mainline programs. It's our mainline commercial loan guarantee program. We refer to it as the B&I program, which is the acronym for Business and Industry Loan Guarantees. And with that said, I'll segue over to Pat, and she can give you talk to you about how our B&I program works. So take it away, Pat.
With the B&I program, this program bolsters the existing private credit structure through the guaranteeing of loans for rural businesses, allowing private lenders to extend more credit, more credit than they would typically be able to. It is lender-driven. The loans can be made to for-profit business, nonprofits, cooperatives, federal recognized tribes, public bodies, and individuals. Loans can be made up to $25 million, and the purposes of the loans could be to convert, enlarge, repair, modernize, or develop business, or you can call it working capital, to purchase, develop land, easements, right-of-ways, buildings, or facilities, also for construction or improvements of buildings. It could be to purchase equipment, machinery, supplies, or inventory, and it can also be used to refinance debts when new jobs will be created and other conditions are met. This program was used in the TRC Brew project in Massachusetts, which I know is some LEDA funds came into play with that project. The next program is another loan program. This is called the Intermediary Lending Program. It provides 1% loan interest loans to local intermediaries that relend to businesses to improve economic conditions and to create jobs in rural communities. Intermediaries are defined as, and these are the ones that could apply for this program, are nonprofits, cooperatives, federal recognized tribes, and public agencies. It is again, it's a revolving loan fund capital, and loans can be made up to $250,000. The next one is the Rural Microentrepreneur Assistance Program. This is another micro loan revolving loan fund program. The maximum loan is up to $50,000. Who's eligible for this program? It's an ag producer or small business, and it does come as a technical assistance grant. The next program is the Rural Economic Development Loan and Grant Program. The eligible applicants is an electric or telecommunications co-op. It's low interest loans, so a community development loan can be made, or a revolving, and also provides revolving loan capital.
Okay, well, thank you, Pat, for a fast rundown. So she touched upon our mainline guaranteed loan program, whereas we're working with commercial lenders to guarantee good loans, bankable loans out in rural areas. We have no size restrictions in that program, and we can look at guaranteeing loans up to $25 million in that program. And she also touched on a couple of revolving loan capital funds programs that we have, whereas we make low interest loans to revolving lenders, such as the Loan Fund. They're a partner of ours, as well as West. They participate with us in those programs. One is more targeted to loans of topping out at $250,000. The other one is targeted to more micro lending, but is also open to ag producers, which is a nuance in that program that's kind of nice. And she mentioned the Red Leg program, the Rural Economic Development Loan and Grant. this is kind of a unique program that USDA offers, whereas we work in partnership with the telecommunications cooperatives, the electric cooperatives, and the telecommunications cooperatives, a few other phone companies, and they actually are the lender, and they mirror financing from our program to them. They mirror it to the rural customer, and that program can be used. Well, it's most directly used for economic development, but it can be used for a broader scope of rural activities as well. So, thank you, Pat. Also, within the arena of business and cooperative programs, we have an arsenal of energy programs. And as Kim mentioned earlier, she's in transition over to community programs, but she was most recently our energy program coordinator. So with that in mind, I'll segue over to Kim, and she can enlighten us on how some of those programs work.
Thank you, Richard. Within RBS, our Rural Business Cooperative Services, we have a variety of energy programs, but our main forefront energy program is our REAP program, otherwise known as our Rural Energy for America program, which offers funding to complete energy audits, provide renewable energy development assistance, make energy efficiency improvements, and install renewable energy systems. Under REAP, the agricultural producer or the rural small business can apply for grant funds or a loan guarantee to help finance the cost of renewable energy systems and energy efficiency improvements to their businesses. To be eligible under the program as a small business, you do have to be a rural business. However, that's the only program where, as an ag producer, you can be located in an urban area, just as long as 51% of your production comes from agriculture. The grant funds can be up to 25% of the total project cost, with a maximum request of $500,000 for renewable energy or $250,000 for energy efficiency. The loan guarantee goes up to 75% of the total eligible project cost, with a minimum loan request of $5,000 or a maximum request of $25 million, with a maximum guarantee up to 85%. Examples of energy efficiency is pretty much anything that you can show energy savings, such as installing lighting, upgrade refrigeration systems, improve insulation, ductwork, windows, lower heating and cooling costs, for ventilation and air conditioning upgrades. Under the renewable energy side, it's in mostly in New Mexico. Most of our projects are for installation of solar panels. We can also do wind turbines as well. We have a couple of geothermal projects, no hydropower, and there's a lot of interest for biomass to energy.
Okay, thank you, Kim. This is probably the most recognizable of our energy programs, the REAP program. And some takeaways for that is there's kind of two facets of it, where we can help finance renewable energy systems. Most directly here in New Mexico is solar, but we can also look at wind systems or anaerobic digestion, biomass, geothermal. We've done some of that. And so a qualified renewable energy system. But we also think that there's a lot of opportunity in REAP for energy efficiency improvements. Whereas we can help rural businesses, for example, pay for more efficient refrigeration, better insulation, LED lighting, that kind of thing. And one thing that we are experiencing here in New Mexico is we've been able to actually combine the REAP program with our B&I loan guarantee program. And it's noteworthy to mention that even though the REAP is, most of what we've done is in the grant arena, we do have a guaranteed loan option as well within REAP for the specific purposes of renewable energy systems or energy efficiency improvements. Actually, in many cases where if we can make a make a case for that in a business expansion, we can offer a lender a better package deal with a combination REAP that may include a grant. It also includes a guaranteed loan, and we can tie that with a B&I loan guarantee as well. So thank you, Kim. All right, we're going to shift gears a little bit within business programs and talk about what we would arguably refer to as our mainline business and economic development grant program, referred to as the Rural Business Development Grant Program, previously known as the RBAG, Enterprise, and the Opportunity Grant, RBOG, Rural Business Opportunity Grant. So, Carlos, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. This is Carlos Contreras, Rural Business Development Grant Coordinator. A little bit about this program. It's open to public bodies, nonprofit, and Native American tribes located in New Mexico or throughout the nation. It's to help with assisting small and emerging businesses and economic development. The RVDG is a competitive grant designed to support targeted technical assistance training and other activities leading to the development and expansion of small and emerging private businesses in rural areas that have fewer than 50 employees and less than $1 million in gross revenues. As Richard mentioned, it's separated into two different types of grant opportunities, and one is enterprise and the other is opportunity. Just to give you an idea of some of the allocation that we got for fiscal year 18, we got over $360,000 in allocation to the state, and then about $67,000 from the national office in regards to Native American assistance to do our grants. Eligible areas for RVDG are going to be in rural areas of towns of 50,000 or less. We do have a link on our website where you can go and take a look at your eligibility by entering an address. There is no maximum grant amount for the enterprise or opportunity type grants. However, small requests are given higher priority. Generally, grants range from $10,000 to $500,000. There is no cost sharing requirement in this particular grant. The opportunity type grant funding is limited to statutorily up to 10% of our total RVDG annual funding. The funds may be used under the enterprise type grant funds to benefit small and emerging businesses, and they can be utilized for training and technical assistance such as project planning, business counseling, training, market research, feasibility studies, acquisition or development of rural business areas, rural business incubator, construction, conversion and renovation of buildings, and equipment purchase. Revolving loan fund capital is also a little area that we have in RVDG where an entity who has the experience in loan making, underwriting, and authority to lend money can apply for RVDG revolving loan grant to provide loans to small and emerging businesses in rural areas for startup and working capital.
Okay, thank you, Carlos. A couple of key points on the Rural Business Development Grant. As Carlos mentioned, we're targeting economic development for small and emerging businesses. However, this is not direct assistance to them. So the eligible grantee for a Rural Business Development Grant is a public body or nonprofit organization or federally recognized tribe who in turn will use those grant funds, and usually in partnership with other funding sources, for the benefit of a small and emerging business. So it can't be a pass-through grant, if you will. The small and emerging business is defined as 50 or less employees and under $1 million in gross receipts. Now, under the opportunity side of that, we can do a more broader scale economic development activities, business planning or feasibility study for regional type business proposal, if you will, that kind of thing. But most of what we do is within the enterprise focus area that is targeting small and emerging businesses. It's also important to note that if this program is being used to finance equipment or real estate, we actually become equity partners with that entity on that. So what that means is that, particularly in the case of real estate, if at some point in the future that is sold, then the agency anticipates getting a prorated share of that equity back for those real estate financed requests. Or equipment usually is a little easier to deal with because the equipment will depreciate out over time, and so within the span usually of 10 years, we no longer have an equity investment in there because of depreciation. But also, Carlos mentioned this would be a good segue into rural areas. Within the agency and within the programs, the definition of a rural area will change. Business and cooperative programs typically will rely on a 50,000 or less, based on the latest census data, as being eligible for business programs. And overall, we probably have the most broad definition, but as we move through the programs, you're going to find that definition change a little bit between CP and housing, for example. We do have a couple of exceptions as well. I won't really dive into those, but there are some cases where if we're dealing with a B&I loan, or in the case of REAP, if we're dealing with an ag producer, there are exceptions to the rural area criteria, so we can actually operate in a urbanized or urbanizing community. So just keep that in mind for now. But anyway, thank you, Carlos. So we're going to shift a little bit more within business and cooperative programs and talk more directly about some of our cooperative programs. And Jessie Bolt is our program lead in that arena, and she's going to talk to you about a couple of opportunities there. So have at it, Jessie.
Hi, I'm Jessie Bope. Thanks for inviting me to speak today. I'm a coordinator of 3 programs I'll talk about: the Socially Disadvantaged Group Grant, the Rural Cooperative Development Grant, and the Value Added Producer Grant. And interestingly enough, the first 2 are only to serve rural areas, and that rural area is 50,000 or less. But the Value Added Producer Grant is for farmers and ranchers, and that is wide open. We have had people who raise goats in downtown Santa Fe make soaps, and we've been able to give them money for a feasibility study for their company. So let me start with the Socially Disadvantaged Group Grant. Applicants can be co-ops, groups of co-ops, or co-op development centers, and those centers have to be, the majority of their board have to be socially disadvantaged, which is pretty broad: women, Hispanics, Native Americans. The projects that can be done are done not for themselves usually, although co-ops can do work for themselves. The projects provide TA to the groups in rural areas, and in the regulation it sounds like generally TA is fine, but it does need to be for co-ops or groups of co-ops that want to form co-ops. So it's not general. The services provided, though, can be pretty general for the business: market research, product, service improvement, legal advice, how to set up a co-op, things like that, feasibility studies, and business plans. It's on a yearly cycle. It's a small grant. We get about $3 million a year is what we've gotten for the last 2 years. The maximum individual grant that an entity can get is $175,000. The project length can only be a year, and it is a national competition. In 2017, we didn't get any awards, but in 2016, we got one for Southwest Development Center, and they were able to develop 2 co-ops for cultural tourism. And in 2015, we got a grant for New Mexico Direct Caregivers, and they developed a co-op for caregivers. The competition, it's pretty reasonable to apply, even though it's a small amount of money. We got the nationwide 16 to 17 awards every year, and about 3/4 of those who apply do get the awards. And the award average is fairly high. It's like $175,000. For rural cooperative development grants, that's for rural areas too, as I said. It's on a yearly cycle, $5.8 million. Each grant maximum $200,000, but this does have a 25% match. Applicants here are nonprofits or institutions of higher learning. This grant is for cooperative development as well, and you can do research, collect data, do training and advisory services for startup co-ops or for developed co-ops that need some help in terms of feasibility studies and the like. As to the value-added producer grant, as I said, it's not limited to rural areas. The applicant is farmers and ranchers, or groups of farmers or ranchers, or their associations. The projects can be for planning or working capital. With regard to working capital, it's labor, supplies, but it's not the purchase of buildings or equipment. Although the federal definition of equipment is an item over $5,000, so we have been able to get minor, what we would generally call equipment for the farmers and ranchers. When it's interesting that it's fairly broad and not limited to value-added products, even though it says that. That's what I want to let you guys know. So yes, you do value-added in terms of if you raise chili, you can make salsa, and we can help you with the processing and marketing of salsa. However, also if you raise chili and you want to just sell the chili, if you're selling it locally and fresh, and you can show that that is raised, that the product is sold within 400 miles or within the state where it's grown, then you can get money for marketing even the raw commodity. And the amount available varies nationally from year to year, but it's about $44 million. The individual max for planning is $75,000. Working capital, $250,000. We do need a 50-50 match. So if you're asking us for $250,000, you need to produce $250,000 as well. This year we've had 6 successful applicants doing both planning and working capital. We're going to do a business plan and feasibility study for a small farm in Peralta and one for a cattle outfit in Eddy County. Working capital will be marketing vegetables for a farmer in Corrales, marketing and outreach for a winery, and developing a pecan farm down south.
Okay, thank you, Jesse. Appreciate it. Some takeaways. Value-added producer grant. This program is unique in that you can use the value-added producer grant program to help get some funding to help plan a venture, and then after that venture has been planned, it looks like it's feasible, and you're ready to launch it. You can come back to Uncle Sam, and he can help ag producers help fund that launching of that value-added proposal. The value-added producer grant, as well as the REAP grant, are unique in that for-profit entities, for-profit individuals can apply for them directly, as opposed to most grants, as I'm sure a number of you are aware, they either work through a public entity or a nonprofit. These, the value-added in the REAP program are an exception to that. Also would like to mention that within cooperative programs in general, the agency is a good resource and a library for cooperative development research publications. give or take 150 of them are available online, or some of them are free, or for a nominal cost you can get printed materials on cooperative related activities as well. So, okay.
I just want to mention that with value added, we are helping the farmers and ranchers directly, and they're often not used to writing a grant application. And we very much here for all of our programs, and I think it's really, really good that we are able to do hands-on help for people who are wanting to do applications. Some places don't give that kind of assistance, but we absolutely have meetings with people and go through their drafts, go through the requirements, the drafts, look at last drafts. I just think it's really good that we're able to do that, especially for these people who are getting grants directly and may not have any background in grant applications.
That's a good point. Thank you, Jess. All right. So we're going to now redirect away from business and cooperative programs and focus more on some of our community programs that we can offer through USDA development. And with that in mind, I'll segue over to Nathan and let him give us some, educate us, if you will, on community programs.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Nathan, and I'm the state kind of coordinator for both our community facilities and our WEP program, our water and wastewater programs. So we will first start with our community facilities. Like the business side, the business program side, we do have guaranteed loans that we are able to do, but we also have a direct program. And the scope of which we can do with community facilities is fairly broad. Up here we have just kind of a quick rundown list of some of the top areas, but we're able to assist with funding on things like an airport hangar as well, and other forms of infrastructure that could form into a community that's kind of essential. We do a lot of first responder assistance that comes from this, and underneath the umbrella of the community facilities program, we have the direct loan and grants that we can do. We have the guaranteed loans, and those are kind of like the big ticket items that we have, but we have a lot of subsidiary kind of tied-in programs that go with our distance learning and telemedicine. That's a really nice program that's kind of designed to almost feed into that e-connectivity goal we have for expanding and connecting individuals through technology. New Mexico is a large state. That's definitely a challenge that many can face, and in rural communities, going to a hospital can be quite a chore. And so facilities have started to work on various equipment and just programs. We have like Project Echo in New Mexico, but there's lots of others where you can get medical assistance and talk to a more experienced medical provider over over the phone or over a VTC or some form of video system. And the distance learning and telemedicine is a program we have that it kind of caters to those type of projects. We have a slew of others, and they're listed later in the presentation under our program guide, or quick reference guide. And a lot of them are very rewarding, produce a lot of rewarding results. So that's on our community facilities. Another one of our prime things that we do in New Mexico is the water and wastewater kind of loans and grants that we can do. There's some stormwater that doesn't usually come up in New Mexico. That seems to be more of a Midwest or Eastern kind of common thing that does fall under the WEP umbrella as well. Water in New Mexico is most assuredly a commodity, and we have both direct loans that USDA is able to issue, and we also have guaranteed loans that we're able to support through third-party lenders. The goal of these loans are to improve existing infrastructure, to repair aging systems, to modernize and add to connections that are there, or to upgrade for, in a lot of cases, like to increase pipe size for fire flows and things of that nature. As you can probably tell in the news, forest fires and just natural fires are across the state are a big concern as well. These programs are targeted, and as mentioned earlier in the presentation, we have a different size limit for our two here. For our community facilities, it needs to be a service area of 20,000 or less. For our water, the service area needs to be for 10,000 or less. Now, that's kind of the key word, is the service area. So there are definitely some incidents where the different regions can kind of cut out the pie there. The portions that we're able to assist with are just for a service area of the 10,000 or less of the water programs. We do have some other kind of subsidiary programs, again, tied under the water and wastewater. Those are referenced in the kind of quick reference guide. Not as many, I would say not as many as we have under the community facilities, but we have like a solid waste management grant, and then we have some technical assistance grants that can be applied under the WEP program. The big goal of the water and the wastewater is to kind of also address the safety concerns. There is not just arsenic to be found, but uranium is unfortunately a common trial that can be found in some of the water systems in New Mexico. A lot of individuals in rural communities will have their own septic systems that unfortunately just over time can start to seep and to cause other health concerns. And so a more community-centered wastewater disposal system can just improve the overall health quality of the region. That, I think we have some other kind of subsidiary under the RUS with the electric that I believe Richard was going to discuss on those.
Yes, thank you, Nathan. Some takeaways from community programs. You know, the agency has a long history of financing community projects out in rural areas, and arguably community programs probably has the biggest footprint within rural development financing that within the agency. I would be surprised if there isn't a rural community out there that hasn't been assisted through at least the water and waste programs that we offer through community programs. Not to mention community facility side, whereas we might be involved with financing or had been at one point on the volunteer fire departments, the municipal fire departments, city buildings, that kind of thing. So it's a great program. Nathan mentioned electric programs and telecommunications a little bit, and let me segue back to those. All of the electrical needs out in rural America have been financed, at least in part, through rural development, all the way back to the predecessor agency of the REA, the Rural Electric Administration, for electric programs. These programs are actually run a little bit differently than from the other programs that we've mentioned, and that we have what we call general field representatives, GFRs as we refer to them. Within electric programs, our GFR is actually located in Rio Rancho, but he covers several states. So we're fortunate to have him here in New Mexico. He's been with us forever. His name is Larry McGraw, and he works directly with your electric cooperatives and help structure rural development financing to those cooperatives. And on the other side of that, telecommunications and broadband, We do have a network, as many of you are aware, of telecommunications cooperatives throughout the state, and it works the same way. We financed many of them, and we have a general field representative, a GFR, that focuses just on telecommunications and broadband financing to those cooperatives. And his name is Brian Smith, and he's actually located in covers several states, the western region, if you will. So just make you aware that we're involved in those arenas, and we do have a contact. So shifting once again to something that's near and dear to all of us, and that's housing. And we have some great, absolutely great housing programs within the agency. And with that said, I'll turn it over to Sam and let you take it away.
Good deal. Thanks, Richard. My name is Samantha Martinez. I'm the new Housing Program Director for RHS. And Richard is right. We do have a few awesome programs that we can help house you with, whether you're looking to own your home or whether you're looking to rent. I'm going to start with our single-family housing, as we refer to them, for home loans, individuals who are interested in purchasing or repairing a home. We have two home loan programs, our 502 Guaranteed Home Loan Program, as well as our 502 Direct Home Loan Program. They do vary a little bit. Our 502 Guaranteed, you actually go through a lender, and we in turn guarantee that lender at 90% of the loan. This is, generally speaking, a moderate income program. You can be considered low income and still utilize this program, but we do have a limitation as far as you have to be within a moderate income or below that. There are credit and income restrictions, as I just mentioned. You cannot get a 502 guarantee loan if you do not have a score of a 582 or higher. Additionally, we do forms of non-traditional credit through this, but you would see a guaranteed lender. We'd in turn guarantee, and we'd work with the lender to make sure that that's the case. You won't see any PMI with these types of home loans. You will see what we call a guarantee fee on our end, but they tend to be very affordable, so those are great options. Our 502 Direct Home Loan Program is a home loan program where we finance the home loan directly here at USDA. This is a low-income program, so you do have to be considered low income or below. There are also credit restrictions for this program, though it is not quite as stringent. We're not looking so much at your credit score, rather as what's on your credit. And for anybody who doesn't have any credit, again, non-traditional credit is an option. So if you've been paying a utility or that sort of thing, we can work with that type of credit. The other thing with our direct program, if you do qualify, we do offer a few extra servicing type functions. There's a thing called subsidy, where depending on your income and your interest rate, it's possible that the government may be able to step in and assist with making your payment every month. Additionally, some of our servicing is a little bit more lengthy than some of the things that a private lender can offer. We do offer moratoriums and different things. We have a longer loan term, so we do anywhere from 30 years to 38 years, again, depending on somebody's individual situation. Additionally, we have another program for people who already own their homes, where we can assist in home repair. We refer to this as our 504 Home Repair Loan and Grant Program. This is for people who already own a home. We can extend loans of up to $20,000 at 1%, so that people can do so. They can include anywhere from making, restrooms handicap accessible to maybe a modernization, new roofs, solar panels, different things that somebody may need to improve their home. This is also a low-income program, so you do have to be considered low-income. And additionally, if someone is over the age of 62, there's a potential for a $7,500 grant over the course of someone's lifetime, so that we can help people repair their home. This is the majority of what we have for single-family housing. Additionally, we have several programs for multifamily housing, and so from here I'm going to turn it over to Cindy Jackson, who's our state coordinator for our multifamily housing program.
Thanks, Sam. Good morning, everyone. We do have a couple of programs in the multifamily housing section. Here in New Mexico, we have 101 properties across the state, and we service those properties. Our term on our existing loans is 30 years, but we amortize our loans over 50 years, so they're more affordable. And so, yeah, we have 50 years worth of servicing on these properties. We have the 538 guaranteed rural rental housing. Like most programs, we have a guarantee program. This is our new construction program. It's a bank loan, and we guarantee the loan up to 90%. And for-profit entities can borrow up to 90% of the total development cost, and nonprofit entities can borrow up to 97% of the total development cost. Those terms can be anywhere from 25 to 40 years to keep it affordable. The 514, 516 farm labor housing loans and grants. We have 8 farm labor housing properties across the state. Nonprofit organizations can get grants, and for-profit organizations can get loans. And these are 1% loans to build new construction for farm labor housing. The housing is for farm laborers, and they do have to be U.S. citizens. We have a housing preservation grant. We call it the VAPG. In the years past, New Mexico only got an allocation of about $50,000, and it's very competitive. This year, we got an allocation of $129,000. And in the application process, it's not mandatory that the funds be matched, but the applicant will get more points if you match the funds. And these grants funds are for individual homeowners who need health and safety repairs. In the last several years, most of our applicants have been tribal housing authorities, and they're able to put, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 into individual homes to upgrade them and make them health and safety. Safe, sanitary, and decent housing. That's our goal. The 515 direct loan, we use those 515 funds for rehabilitation of our existing properties. We have a lot of aging properties. They need rehabilitation, and so we have what we call the NPR program, which is the next housing preservation and revitalization. We use our 515 funds to revitalize and preserve our existing stock. And then there was one other one that I neglected to get on this PowerPoint. It's called the Preservation Revolving Loan Fund. It's a demonstration program, but our recipient of those funds happens to be the New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority, and they will do loans up to $500,000 for our existing properties to revitalize and preserve. I think that's about it. We do have our rental assistance program. We provide rental assistance to our tenants, to the tenants in our multifamily housing properties. And every year we do about $15 million in rental assistance here in New Mexico. I think that's about it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Cindy. So some takeaways for our housing programs. Certainly, we have a broad depth of what we can offer in rural development, working with the very low income rental market, if you will, and helping our clientele in that arena. We can also provide direct assistance to very low, and moderate income rural residents to finance as the lender of first opportunity in housing. And our direct program, which is targeted to low income folks. And we're very flexible in the terms that we can offer. A very attractive interest rate, very attractive terms, a little more flexible in the underwriting, with the understanding these are many times lenders of first-time homeowners. And one key component in housing is we can offer no down payment assistance. And provide, as Sam mentioned, we can provide some subsidy assistance to very low and income homeowners as well. The guaranteed program can is usually targeting more moderate income rural housing homeowners, and we're working with lenders on that. It's a guaranteed backed mortgage product, very popular and growing nationally, and offers, again, great terms, no down payment, flexible financing options for the lender. One of the themes within rural development, as you've picked up on probably as we move through the presentation here, is that we offer financing in the form of direct loans from Uncle Sam, usually low interest loans and pretty flexible in terms. We do offer a number of grant programs across the mission area within business and economic development, housing, and community programs. And we offer a guaranteed loan, many of them that are targeted into specific program areas. As I've mentioned and Pat's talked about, we've got a commercial loan guarantee program that targets business and commercial development. We have a guaranteed loan program that targets energy-related projects. We have guaranteed programs that are targeted for community facilities, also in water and waste systems. We have guaranteed loans products that target housing, in addition to the direct loans and grants that we mentioned. And we do offer, probably most directly through cooperative services, technical assistance resources as well within the agency. So, okay, moving to the next slide, we've incorporated kind of a quick program reference guide, and this speaks to the programs that we touched on in the presentation, but also some we have not. There, as we mentioned at the top of our discussion, there's 40-plus programs in the agency. And so that just kind of gives you, the next few slides there, kind of an overview of what those are within rural development. And let's move on through. We've got a few more minutes here. It's a little slow. Okay. There's our contact information at the program director side, myself, Kim, and Sam. And we'd kind of like to finish the formal part of the discussion with maybe touch on some success stories within RBS. The first one is Truth or Consequences Brewing Company. Our financing involved a $480,000 guaranteed loan. And also we were able to couple that with some REAP grants, two of them in fact. One to help finance the solar system on the brewery, and then also the energy efficiency improvements that they made to that project. It was a Main Street facility, and they needed to make some upgrades. And so we were able to facilitate that. And maybe you can expand on that project.
Yeah, sure, Richard. And also, I wanted to mention, like Pat mentioned earlier, this is one of the projects that we're really proud of because it also received LEDA funds from the state The REGA funds were used for the solar panels. The B&I guarantee was for the building's renovation, and then the energy efficiency grants were for the lighting, the solar tubes, and then also part of the solar panels were paid from our REAP grant funds. And I hear that because of our funds, they're doing so well in TRC that they're looking to expand to the second level. As of a couple months, maybe last month when Richard went to visit them. So we're very proud of this project and look forward to leveraging more projects like this with the state and other partners throughout the state.
Okay, thank you, Kim. All right, another example, this is within the community facilities arena. This is the Pecos Valley Medical Center. And Nate, can you share with us maybe some specificity on this project?
Absolutely. This is a very interesting project in that when they first came, they being Pecos Valley Medical Center, the board, had a very strategic goal in mind, a plan, where it's a multi-staged kind of goal. And they started as a dental clinic. And in 2012, they came and they came to us and they solicited funding, and we worked out and formed a $3 million loan with them to expand that clinic into also being a more traditional medical clinic. Because in the area there isn't a lot of other resources and options available, and so they wanted to kind of expand the community. And since then, that expansion was completed, and their client base of unique cases that are unique patients they see over the course of the year has exponentially grown, and so they've continued to adopt and expand their services, including now to have some behavioral health, some of it even targeting opioid misuse and education. And so in 2017, they started, and we've obligated and now actually working on the construction side of expanding it further to grow the medical clinic side of things, but to expand even more educational and mental health services to really just make this a center of healing and targeting of that, even preventative medicine. Their down the road goals can include things to almost like a community center where people will come to exercise or take other forms of almost physical therapy to do preventative measures and to kind of improve quality of health and life, so that way we can avoid some of the more critical downturns of health that tend to be a lot more drastic, life-altering, monetarily taxing, and something that they couldn't handle out in that region would require travel to a larger center like UNM. So we're very proud of this project. We anticipate it's going to go smoothly, and if everything stays as it is, they'll continue to grow, and in several more years, we'll probably see them again as they move to the next stage.
All right, thank you, Nate. The next one is actually, we'll just stay with you. It's within the water and waste arena.
So this one is, I don't want to say it's nothing special, but it's kind of rather routine. But it was one of a nice smooth, wastewater application where Chaparral kind of improved upon their wastewater collection system. This is, they come in all shapes and sizes, and this is, as Richard mentioned earlier, he would have been surprised if there's not many communities in New Mexico that at some point over the decades, we have not been involved in some manner or project in the community. And so this is just has some nice pictures to showcase the kind of the improvement and addition of a collection system, which, as I kind of mentioned earlier in the presentation, getting to a kind of a community wastewater system does have overall health benefits, and while it might impose a monthly cost, there is some definite setup fees that then are dodged and maintenance fees, and when they go wrong, that can be very bad. So this is one of the other little projects we've done that we're pretty proud of. It has a nice good loan grant combination that we're able to do to help fund this and get them going.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're ready for any questions. Joanna, are you with us?
Yes, I'm right here. Thank you guys so much. That was fantastic. And what we're going to do is take questions right now. Let's see. Let me pull out the questions. And if you have questions, type them into the box that you should see on the right hand of your screen. I'm just going to get those. We have quite a bit, so let me get through these. Let's see. We need to put solar panels on the roof of the Silco Theater, which is in Silver City. Will the RES program work for that?
I'll take that question, Johanna.
Okay.
It just depends if the theater is organized as a rural small business. To be eligible for REAP, you'll have to be eligible under the FCA business standard as a small business. Of course, obviously, Silver City is rural, so that part they're eligible, but they just have to be a for-profit business to be eligible for the program.
Okay, that's good to know. Next question is, how do we get the spreadsheet summary of programs?
We can send that along with a PowerPoint for you to send out to the participants tomorrow, the quick reference guide.
Yeah, if you'd like that separate from the PowerPoint presentation, we can do that, absolutely.
Okay, thanks. Next question is there a grant for holding ponds for septic waste?
A grant?
Yes.
It'd be unlikely to be a grant-only kind of project.
Right.
Are they speaking from individual housing situation, or?
Oh, I guess that's a question too. Are they talking about in the community sense, or?
There's no specification, so
yeah.
I'm sure.
So I guess there's potential for a grant if it's for an individual home. We'd have to look at a few other things, so it's a hard question to answer with just that. But no, there would be potential, I suppose, if it was a single-family home that needed help with their wastewater system.
Or if they're talking about stormwater, holding ponds, maybe that's something as a community that might be looking at under the wastewater.
And
program.
they said it's a county holding pond.
It's a county holding pond, so more
yes.
Like stormwater holding.
Is it a Colonia community?
I'm not sure. And we can follow up. The asker was Clay Spears, so I can get you his contact information if you guys want to follow up with them. If that's okay.
Okay.
Okay. The next question is value-added products. Do value-added products include, let's see, I think tree-grown products? Let's see. Yeah, tree-based products. Right.
Yeah. Like apples or pecans.
Or nuts or, yeah. That's what I would assume.
That would be okay, wouldn't it, Jesse?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You just have to have the right to the harvest.
Okay.
To be growing, you have to tend the orchard. You have to show that you tend it and that you at least own the harvest.
Okay. The next question is, we have a dirt lot we want to turn into an event space for the community to bring people to our downtown and be used by the farmers market. Would the Rural Business Development Grant program be applicable?
Let's take a look here.
Potentially.
Downtown market could be a small business.
Would this be privately owned?
I assume that it would be I think this is from a Main Street organization, so either city or nonprofit.
It's just a possibility that could fall under the Rural Business Development Grant as a nonprofit owning the land to assist the cultivation of the small businesses, maybe. So
and depending on the financing needs, what have you, I could look to one of the loan guarantee programs as well. But yeah, it would be a rural area, and there wouldn't be anything exempt as far as the purpose for the program. So yeah, there's some potential there.
Okay, great. Another question that came in was, what is considered low income for the home programs?
So the low income varies by household size and by county. So those numbers are on a big spreadsheet for the different programs. I'd be happy to send those out to anybody who is interested and wanted specifics for household size and county.
Okay. And can you share your contact?
Yes, this is Samantha Martinez. I was on the presentation.
Okay, just so they know who's talking. And let's see. The next question is, let's see. Do rural education co-ops qualify for USDA co-op funding programs?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and we had one question, and I'll send these questions to you guys too, with the asker to follow up. Let's see. We have a community-owned passive solar community center that needs repairs and upgrades. ADA bathroom access, stucco recoating, adding storage capacity. Wish list would be solar and heat AC system as well as internet phone. Who would I contact about requirements and grant/loan possibilities?
They can reach Carlos Contreras. You can reach Carlos Contreras at the state office.
Okay, great. All right, and I think that's about it. We have a couple of smaller questions that are more direct, so I'll pass those on to you guys. I think that's it for the questions. Let's see. And I want to just say a final thank you, guys, or thank you to the USDA team. As you can see, that USDA has a phenomenal program that offers all these different types of assistance and incredible resources to rural development. So thank you, guys. And it's fantastic to know who to contact and follow up with more questions. Really quickly, in closing, I wanted to just share some upcoming events that we have with the Economic Development Department. Our next webinar will be on opportunity zones. We did an introductory to opportunity zones, but this is now that you know that your region or area has an opportunity zone. There's actually 63 designated in New Mexico. We'll be discussing the now what, the next steps of how do you market it, how do you develop a fund for that, and that webinar will happen August 23rd. You can register here at this link that's provided. Also, we're really excited, the next workshop for the Rural Efficient Business Program, which is a part of the REAP program that Kim was mentioning, the Rural Efficient Assistance Program. This is a program that will host in Clovis. An engineer from Energy, Minerals, Natural Resources will be on hand about how to reduce energy consumption for rural businesses and agricultural producers. As well, we'll be talking about financing options like some of the REAP products to finance renewable energy systems. And then also our next Fund It meeting will be September 4th. So you can apply. The cutoff for applications is August 24th. And Just wanted to mention that our CEP, the Credit Enhancement Program, we are actively enrolling lenders and projects. So if you have a business that's interested in a business loan but needs some help, you can go to our website and apply to that program. So as mentioned, this presentation will be emailed out to all the registrants. You'll have Richard and the rest of the USDA team's contacts provided, as well as the New Mexico Economic Development Finance team, our website, and that's it. So again, thank you so much to the USDA team. They're fantastic resources. Reach out to them with questions and follow up, and let us know how we can help as well.
All right. Well, thank you, Joanna. I appreciate the opportunity, and I express my thanks on behalf of the team here for you facilitating this discussion today. And as always, our door is open. We'd be glad to talk about projects and needs and how we can best assist rural areas here in New Mexico. And once again, thank you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you guys for being such great partners. Bye. Have a great afternoon.
Bye. Bye.